You think you know how airports work. You show up early, go through security, maybe grab a latte, and perhaps get lured into that duty-free section with the giant Toblerone bars. Everything seems normal, controlled, and predictable. But what if I told you there's a whole other side of the airport that no one ever talks about? I'm not talking about flight delays and gate changes, I mean the intentional stuff. The little tricks baked into the layout, the rules that aren't really about safety, and the quiet manipulations designed to get you to spend more, move faster, or sit exactly where they want you. Turns out, airports aren't just places you pass through. They're machines, behavioral machines. And once you start seeing how they're built, you'll never walk through one the same way again. So let's do this. Let's break down the secrets you were never supposed to notice. Because the most powerful tricks are the ones hiding in plain sight. You've heard it 1,000 times. Get to the airport at least 2 hours before your flight. And sure, if you're checking a bag, flying international, or traveling during the holidays, that makes sense. But let's be real. On a random Tuesday morning, that 2-hour rule starts to feel a little suspicious. Ever wonder why the airport pushes it so hard? It's not about helping you relax, it's about keeping you spending. You see, the earlier you show up, the longer you linger. And what do people do when they're stuck in a terminal with nothing to do for 90 minutes? They spend. They grab overpriced snacks, browse duty-free like it's a mall, and maybe even buy a $14 neck pillow they'll never use again. The airport calls it dwell time. Retail consultants call it the golden hour, but let's call it what it is. A carefully orchestrated trap for your wallet. But here's the twist. You can skip the game entirely. Check in online, travel light with just a carry-on, and dress smart. Think slip-on shoes, no belts, no metal. Be ready to breeze through TSA like you've done this before, because you have. Instead of wandering around the terminal for 2 hours, maybe show up 65 minutes before takeoff. It's not reckless, it's optimized. It's how savvy travelers fly. Now, does this work every time? Number. Some airports are chaos, and some days are cursed. But most of the time, you'll be the one boarding calmly while everyone else is still finishing their airport burrito. Time is money, and in this case, saving time might just save you both. Ever notice how the comfiest seats in the airport aren't anywhere near your gate? You'll find them just outside the luxury watch store or tucked next to a perfume display. Leather armchairs, warm lighting, maybe even a charging port. Like a first-class lounge for people who never bought a ticket. But it's not generosity, it's psychology. These are revenue seats. They're not there for your spine, they're there for your wallet. Studies show we're far more likely to spend money when we're relaxed. Why? Because when your brain thinks you've earned a break, it gives you a little dopamine boost, and dopamine loves a reward. That's when the terminal becomes a shopping trap disguised as a chill zone. So airports started planting these cozy little setups near high-margin stores. The goal is to get you to sit, breathe, unwind, and start browsing. Slowly, casually, one scented candle here, a luxury hand cream there. Before you know it, your carry-on is heavier and your credit card is lighter. This works especially well right after security, in what retail experts call the golden hour. You've made it through TSA and you're relieved. You're not thinking straight. And what's waiting just past the scanner? A duty-free maze framed by a couch that says, "Treat yourself." So next time you melt into one of those airport sofas and find yourself tempted to buy a $60 candle with zero regrets, just know you didn't wander into that store by accident. You were guided, gently and neurologically. You just made it through security. You're hot, tired, and your bottle is empty. Right on cue, you spot a water fountain. Score, right? Not so fast. That fountain may look like a lifesaver, but according to multiple studies, it might be the most contaminated surface in the entire airport. A report by Water Filter Guru found that airport fountains can carry over 30 million CFUS of bacteria per square inch. That's more than 50,000 times the bacteria count of a toilet seat. And the worst part is the little button you press. One test found over 21,000 CFUS right there, making it one of the top 3 dirtiest surfaces in the airport, just behind self-check-in kiosks and gate bench armrests. People who work in airports aren't shy about it. One Reddit user wrote, "Worked at LAX for 5 years. Those fountains rarely got cleaned. I never drank from one again." Another chimed in, "They have filters, sure, but they're almost never replaced." To be fair, the water itself is usually treated, but it's the spout, the button, the metal edges. Those are the parts you're touching, and they're basically a germ hotspot. If you have to use it, avoid touching the spout with your bottle. Just fill it up and move on. Or better yet, bring a sealed bottle or use a filtered filling station near your gate. Because that free sip could cost you more than you think. What if the most affordable food in the airport isn't in the terminal at all? It sounds backwards, right? But in many cases, the smartest meal choice is actually served in a tray, mid-air. Once you're past security, the airport knows you're stuck. You're tired, hungry, maybe a little stressed, and there's nowhere else to go. That's exactly why everything from a sandwich to a granola bar feels outrageously priced. You're not paying for flavor. You're paying because there's nowhere else to eat. It's classic trapped pricing. Fewer options, higher prices, and a captive audience that's too hungry to argue. Meanwhile, on board, you might find a better deal. A snack box that costs less than the soggy wrap near your gate and gets delivered right to your seat. No greasy bag to juggle, no balancing food on your lap while managing your boarding pass. You sit down, tap your card, and boom, done. It's like skipping the chaos and the price tag. And if you've got the airline's credit card, even better. Many offer 20 to 25% off in-flight purchases. That $8.99 cheese plate drops to $6.74 without you even thinking about it. It's not gourmet, but it's predictable, clean, and cheaper than most things on the ground. So next time you're tempted by that $9 trail mix at Gate 23, maybe just wait for the cart. Your wallet and your hands will thank you. You've probably wondered, are they really seeing through your clothes? Not anymore. You step into the scanner, raise your arms, hold your breath for half a second, and hope nothing beeps. But ever wonder what the TSA agents actually see on that screen? The truth is, they're not looking at you, not the way you think. Modern scanners, specifically millimeter wave machines, don't show your body at all. Instead, they generate a generic gender-neutral outline that looks more like a gingerbread man than a person. If the machine detects something unusual, like metal in a pocket or a bulky item under your clothes, a little colored box pops up on that zone. That's it. No detailed curves, no awkward anatomy. Just a virtual figure with a red square that says, "Check here." And the best part? You can see it too. The screen is usually visible to both the officer and the passenger, so there's no mystery, no guesswork, and no room for creepy scanner myths. That wasn't always true. The old backscatter machines did show ghostly, X-ray-like body images, and yeah, the privacy backlash was real. TSA quietly retired those in 2013, and since then, it's been privacy-first tech all the way. Still, today's machines are pretty sensitive. Even harmless stuff like a bobby pin, body piercings, or a zipper that's just in the wrong place can set them off. If you're wearing something you think might confuse the system, just mention it. It saves you a pat down and probably a long, awkward pause. So no, TSA agents aren't secretly judging your outfit. They're just following the boxes. Most people assume that if TSA damages or loses something in your bag, there's a safety net waiting, a form to fill, and a refund on the way. Some basic level of accountability. But here's the gut punch. The system isn't built to help you. It's built to make you give up. Yes, there's a claims process. Yes, you can file it. But what you get back? Maybe a $40 check. After 5 months if you're lucky. Travelers have submitted detailed photos, timestamps, even TSA inspection slips, and still gotten denied. The burden of proof is entirely on you, and even when the evidence is clear, the answer is often a polite version of too bad. This isn't just about theft, it's about a lack of responsibility. Even when your stuff gets obviously broken during screening, even when there's no one else who could have done it, TSA rarely admits fault. They might not have stolen your laptop, but they sure won't help you get it replaced. So don't assume the system has your back. Pack your valuables like no one else will protect them. because once they're out of sight, your chances of seeing them again might depend on how loud you're willing to get. If TSA is the passive side of this story, the system that won't help, then baggage handling is where things get actively shady. Out on the tarmac, not every uniformed worker is just tossing bags and scanning barcodes. Some are quietly turning your suitcase into a part-time payday, and they've been doing it for years. There's footage from Miami where TSA agents were caught pocketing cash during random screenings. At one Florida airport, hidden cameras showed baggage workers digging through suitcases like it was their personal lost and found. One guy at Newark pulled off a 4-year theft spree worth almost $800,000. His excuse? Everyone else was doing it. The method is simple. Use the X-ray to spot electronics, jewelry, or even cash. Wait for a bag that isn't locked, pop it open somewhere off camera, take what you want, and seal it back up like nothing happened. And here's the worst part. It's fast, easy, and hard to prove. By the time you land and realize something's missing, your bag's been through 5 hands, 3 conveyors, and possibly a forklift. Good luck pointing fingers. So what's the move? Don't check valuables, don't flaunt expensive gear. Use TSA-approved locks, and pick luggage that doesn't scream, "Steal me." The sad truth is, if something in your bag looks tempting, someone out there might be tempted. Because to the wrong person, your suitcase isn't luggage. It's opportunity. You hand off your suitcase, it disappears down the conveyor belt with that little printed tag, and you trust. You trust that it'll get where it's supposed to go. Trust that the fragile sticker means something. And trust that somewhere behind the scenes, someone is handling it with care. That trust might be misplaced. Here's what really happens once your bag vanishes. Imagine a warehouse. Concrete floors, conveyor belts screeching, and luggage flying. Literally. Your suitcase is being tossed 6 feet in the air, slammed onto carts, and stacked like Jenga blocks under a countdown clock. Why the rush? Because the ground crew has about 10 minutes to load hundreds of bags. One delay, one missed connection, and they're out of a job. So that gentle handling thing doesn't exactly make the cut. I've talked to baggage handlers who've seen it all. Cracked laptops, shattered heirloom jewelry, designer luggage folded like origami. One guy watched a hard-shell case get punted by a robotic arm straight off the belt, like a $300 Coke can meeting a forklift. And it's only gotten worse post-pandemic. Less staff, more automation, more oops, wrong bag moments. And when the system's overwhelmed, your suitcase becomes just another piece in the chaos. So what do? Stop treating checked luggage like a vault. Never, ever put valuables inside. Use a solid hard-shell case, wrap it if you must, and if you love something enough to worry about it, it belongs in the overhead, or better yet, in your hands. Because down there on the tarmac, your suitcase isn't luggage, it's cannon fodder. Most travelers assume the dirtiest place in any airport is the bathroom. I mean, it smells weird, the floor's sticky, and someone's always drying their hands on their jeans. Obvious choice, right? Guess what's filthier than the toilet? The thing you just tapped 5 times. A study by Insurance Quotes swabbed high-traffic spots across major US airports, and the #1 bacteria bomb wasn't in the restroom. It was the self-check-in kiosk. One swab showed over 250,000 colony-forming units of bacteria per square inch. That's not a typo. That's the kind of number that makes you want to sanitize your entire boarding pass. Second place, the armrests at the gate. Yep, the ones you lean on while eating that $12 sandwich. Third, the button on the airport water fountain. For comparison, the average airport toilet seat has around 1,000 CFUS. Let that sink in. So why so filthy? Because no one thinks to clean them. Bathrooms get scrubbed. But kiosks, armrests, that's bacteria territory. Thousands of fingers, sneezes, snack crumbs, and no disinfectant in sight. So what's the move? Keep some hand sanitizer handy, especially after using touchscreens. And maybe think twice before resting your face on a gate bench. You don't need to be a germaphobe. Just try not to rub your eyes right after tapping that kiosk. Because starting your trip with a stomach bug from a check-in kiosk, that's not the kind of upgrade anyone asked for. Think no one's paying attention to you at the gate. Think again. You might feel like just another name on a boarding pass, but in reality, airport staff often know exactly who you are before you ever say a word. Gate agents, flight attendants, even security personnel Get briefed on the passengers coming through. Who's a frequent flyer? Who requested special treatment? Who caused a scene last month at baggage claim? It's not paranoia, it's protocol. And yes, there's a kind of quiet profiling at play. If you've racked up status with the airline, your name might trigger a subtle upgrade, a softer tone, or a last-minute seat shift in your favor. If you've been flagged for behavior, that follows you too. One former airline employee put it bluntly, "There's a notes section next to your name, and trust me, people use it." So when you roll your eyes at a gate agent, demand to be boarded early, or go full meltdown over a middle seat, just know, you're probably not the first one to do it, and you will be remembered. Airports track more than bags, they quietly track behavior. And sometimes, being just another traveler is the best reputation you can have. You hand over your checked luggage, watch it disappear behind a rubber curtain, and assume it's on its way to the plane. But what actually happens to your bag in those hidden tunnels is far more advanced and a little unnerving. First stop, explosive detection systems. These aren't your average X-ray machines. They're loaded with tech that scans through layers of clothing, electronics, and toiletries, using advanced imaging and chemical trace detection to flag anything suspicious. Some systems even use computed tomography, basically the same tech as a hospital CT scan, to rotate your bag in 3D and digitally dissect everything inside. Your suitcase is getting the VIP diagnostic treatment, and all of it happens fast. The system flags shapes, densities, even smells. If anything sets off a red flag, the bag is automatically pulled from the line for manual inspection, often before it even reaches the carousel. What's wild is, this level of scrutiny doesn't just catch weapons. It's picked up bottles of hot sauce misread as fuel, weird-shaped souvenirs mistaken for pipe bombs, and more than one forgotten bottle of water that turned out to be tequila. The bottom line? Your luggage might seem like it's just riding a conveyor belt, but in reality, it's running a gauntlet of machines that could rival Superman's X-ray vision. So, next time you walk into an airport thinking you know how it all works, pause. That comfy chair by the perfume shop? It's not there for your comfort. That early boarding announcement? It might just be a nudge to get you spending. And that harmless little water fountain? It could be carrying more bacteria than the airplane toilet. Airports are smart, sneaky smart. Every sign, every seat, every scanner is designed to manage not just crowds, but behavior. Your behavior. But now you're one of the few who sees it. And once you see it, you can outsmart it. So here's your move. Pack light, think ahead, and don't let a $14 sandwich, a flashy sale, or a quietly judgmental scanner make the decisions for you. Oh, and if you've got an airport hack that saved your sanity or your wallet, drop it in the comments. I want to hear it. If this video opened your eyes or just gave you one more reason to skip the airport water fountain, hit like, share it with your favorite travel buddy, and subscribe for more videos that spill the travel secrets no one else will. See you at the gate. Preferably 65 minutes before takeoff.